way it's meant to be. Fast. One gives you more.
You can count on us.
Save $1.80 on fresh Purdue value pack chicken thighs or drumsticks at $1.99 per pound. 5-ounce package assorted varieties of fresh attitude salads, $4.99. Save 66 cents on Atlantic sugar, $2.79 for a 4-pound bag. Only $1.59 for a 12-ounce tin of Pat evaporated milk. For your holiday fruitcakes, Champion seedless raisins, $3.59 for a 12-ounce box. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more super specials.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, October the 31st. I'm Tarai Trott in for Diane Brewer. Thanks for joining us tonight. A former customs officer tonight beginning a 10-year sentence behind bars for his admission to possessing $30,000 worth of cocaine for supply. We get our lead story from Jasmine Patterson.
41-year-old Roberto Marquez, a self-confessed cocaine user and former customs officer of 8 years, was found by police at a parking lot on St. John's Road outside Arnold Supermarket within 300 meters of Saltus Grammar School with 30 plastic baggies of a white substance in a sunglass case inside his car. He told police, "It's coke. I use it. I hook my friends up with it when I go out to party." A further search of his gym bag revealed he had bundles of mixed denomination Bermuda and U.S. currency totaling $16,987. Ryan Willingham Walker was also arrested at the scene, found to have cannabis in his pocket. Police searches of Marquez and Walker's respective residence led to the discovery of Marquez possessing 118 grams of cocaine and cash, while Walker also had around 4 ounces of cannabis, a scale and drug equipment intended for the misuse of the drugs. The total amount of weed found came to $6,750 worth. Prosecutor Nicole Smith said the pair had pleaded guilty to the offenses, however, suggested Marquez should face a prison sentence of no less than 12 years for possessing the drugs with intent for supply, considering his role as a customs officer now caught using the drug trade for profit. Ms. Smith adding that a series of conversations was found in Marquez's phone messages where he described the cocaine sales, stating, quote, "We've gone through 4 ounces. I've only got 6 left. That's 2 ounces a week. I've got too much dinero. It's effing nuts." Defense lawyer Charles Richardson for Marquez argued while his client did breach his duty in a position of trust, he did not abuse that position to effect the commission of these offenses. He suggested a period of imprisonment of no more than 8 years. In addition, he stated Marquez has been using cocaine since 2002. The offenses were fueled by him being a functioning addict. He further stated Marquez tested positive for the drug upon entering Westgate on remand. Although Willingham Walker is unrepresented, Mr. Richardson mitigated on his behalf to state that Walker's case would ordinarily be tried in magistrate's court with the offense of simple possession of cannabis and drug equipment, dealt with by fine, but the matter was joined by the Department of Public Prosecutions to Marquez. Given this is a first-time conviction for Walker and a guilty plea was entered, Mr. Richardson suggested a custodial sentence of 9 to 12 months, whereas the Crown called for 2 to 4 years. Justice Carlisle Greaves acknowledged that Walker accepts he intended to supply the cannabis, although not commercially, and sentenced him to 18 months behind bars, 6 months for possessing the drug, and 1 year for drug equipment to run concurrently. Meanwhile, Marquez will serve 10 years for possession with intent to supply, 1 year for having drug equipment, and 2 years and 6 months for money laundering, also to run concurrently. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Meanwhile, Detective Chief Inspector Nicholas Pedro offering this statement to the media shortly after the sentence was handed down.
I think it's important to note that this case demonstrates that the criminal justice system works and that the police will act without fear or favor to those who will seek to act corruptly and break the law. It gives us no pleasure to stand here and have to speak about fellow law enforcement personnel in this regard, but I think it's important that the public take note of this case in the sense that it demonstrates that the system does work. I think the court's sentence reflects the seriousness of the offenses that were charged and ultimately that they were convicted of, and hopefully will act as a deterrent to those who would seek to act similarly.
Despite what appears to be the constant moving of the goalposts in terms of requirements the island must meet in order to stay off of the OECD blacklist and live up to continued scrutiny to avoid being dubbed a tax haven, Premier David Burt is confident Bermuda's status as an upright business jurisdiction is not under threat, but he warns we must remain vigilant. Here's Gary Moreno with more.
This country has signed tax information exchange agreements, or TIAs, with more than 20 others around the world, and has met every requirement set out by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or the OECD, but still continues to be stigmatized as a tax haven, a myth which successive ministers of finance have sought to dispel with considerable success. Current Premier and Minister of Finance David Burt acknowledges, though, Bermuda can ill afford to let down its guard.
The challenge that we have as a country is that we should not be engaging only when we feel as though we need to, but we should be constantly engaging. And as I've stated on numerous occasions, the government will look into making sure that we have increased engagement not only in Washington, D.C., where we're facing threats, but also in the European Union, which is important as an important trading partner, especially for our insurance and reinsurance companies.
According to the Premier, it is this approach of constant vigilance which has allowed Bermuda, as is often said, to punch above its weight in the international business arena. But is this apparent never-ending information campaign proving successful, given that new requirements are always being implemented?
Absolutely, it's getting through. Bermuda is a leader in this space. We are continuing to lead in this space. We've recognized, and successive governments have decided, that in order to make sure that we can keep what it is that we have, we want to make sure that we are and leading the pack when it comes to making sure that Bermuda is recognized as a transparent place to do business. The one thing that we like to say is that Bermuda is an excellent place to raise capital, and it's not the best place to hide it. That's not what Bermuda is about. So from the perspective of what we're doing, we want to make sure that when it comes to issues of international tax transparency, we are leading, and that's where we'll continue to be.
Premier Burt explaining this is why visits such as the recent one to Europe, where he met with senior officials to discuss the European Union pending blacklist threat to Bermuda, are in fact needed.
It's what's necessary and required to be a successful international finance center, which Bermuda is, and we're just going to continue that.
Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And it was a more fiery Premier David Burt who reacted to recent reports of deals possibly being cut with a certain company to influence how casino gaming is operated in Bermuda. Mr. Burt suggesting it is individuals within the Gaming Commission who may have been speaking out of turn, much to his dismay.
I think that it's rather interesting that we're talking about as something that the government isn't even considering, but that shows you what happens with media speculation that is being borne by people who clearly have ulterior motives. There are lots of ulterior motives that are going on in this space. What is clear is that this government is committed to making sure that we meet our international commitments. We are making sure that there is no question as to the proprietary of our gaming industry, and I think that people who are in positions where they are supposed to be, such as those in the Gaming Commission, should probably do better to not make as much noise and to focus on the job at hand, as opposed to attempting to drag Bermuda into disrepute for whatever reason they may have.
And stick around, more news coming up after this short break.
You can count on us.
Save $1 on Green Giant Idaho russet potatoes, $5.99 for a 5-pound bag. Save $2 on fresh and tender boneless pork chops, $4.99 per pound. For your mac and cheese dish, Catelli macaroni, $2.19 for a 500-gram box. 1-pound box of Bluebonnet margarine sticks, just $1.99. Save $1.20 on Charmin Ultra Soft or Strong Toilet Tissue, $4.99 for a package of 4. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
You can count on us.
More people today rely on Mailboxes U.S. Express to bring their internet shopping into Bermuda than any other shipping service. Why? Because it's cheaper, quicker, and our staff are friendlier. Large international couriers charge more than $80 to bring a 1-pound package into Bermuda. When you use U.S. Express, you pay only $19.50. So when you're shopping online, trust the service that brings in more packages to Bermuda than anyone else. Mailboxes U.S. Express. Sign up today.
Welcome to Furniture Walk. At Furniture Walk, we have one of the island's widest selections of top brand home furnishings, including Stearns & Foster, Craftmaster, Natuzzi, Universal, Bassett, and many more. Whether you're freshening up your living room or remodeling your entire home, we have all the brands and top quality furnishings you'll need. We also offer in-house financing. Can't find what you're looking for in store? No problem. We can special order it for you. Our website has an even larger selection of the world's best furniture. Stop by our Paget store and we'll be happy to help you get on your way to finding the perfect selection for your home or office. Furniture Walk, furnishing Bermuda's homes for over 30 years.
Well, 18 months of hard work by the Immigration Reform Working Group to recommend the principles of comprehensive immigration reform coming to an end today. The group appeared alongside Home Affairs Minister Walton Brown Jr. to formally hand over their report containing these principles. The group, headed by Chairman William Medeiros, was originally established by the former OBA government to recommend changes to the Immigration and Protection Act following the OBA's explosive pathways to status. Now that Minister Brown has received the report, he will study the principles and forward it to the bipartisan Parliamentary Immigration Group, which will look at legislative framework.
This is a very important day for Bermuda, a very important day for the government. Today, the Immigration Reform Working Group will be handing over their report to the government. Their report will identify the principles by which we will give further consideration to issues of PRC and the discretionary grant of Bermuda status and other related matters. It has been at least an 18-month period. This committee, this working group, chaired by my friend, Mr. William Medeiros, and the other members have put in a truly amazing effort to get us to this point. They've met at least twice weekly for 18 months. Sometimes in the beginning it was even more frequent than that. And so the public should be grateful for the work that they've done. They've engaged in a consultative process to arrive at these principles.
Here's Group Chairperson William Medeiros.
The people of Bermuda can take comfort in knowing that the contents of this report enjoys full consensus support of our group without dissent. Every point, every comma, every period, every capital letter has been the subject of detailed consideration and very robust discussion. The group wishes to thank the government of Bermuda and all of Bermuda for entrusting this momentous task to us.
In terms of consensus, which aspect of your study would you say was the most difficult for the group?
Anybody want a piece of it? Immigration has got to be, if you think about it as a word, it has got to be one of the singular most challenging topics that any country can be dealing with. You could start with something, if I may, as simple as mixed status families. Well, mixed status families have mummies and daddies and sons and daughters, and they're born all over the place. And I can honestly say, as a member of the group, that all of these topics were robustly discussed.
Immigration, as the chairman stated, immigration is a difficult subject, and it's one that is faced by countries around the world talking about immigration. And it's an emotional subject because when you start to look at things on paper, it's easy to make a decision just looking at something on paper, but when you meet people and know that these stories are actual people, we all have a heart and want to be able to do something, but we also want to make sure that there's a balance.
In other news, conditions at the Salvation Army's emergency housing facility at the Bishop Spencer site are deteriorating as government has yet to give the green light to redevelop the aging building. But the charity continues to shell out hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to keep it running. Major Frank Pittman of the Salvation Army telling us at a news conference recently that the Salvation Army are anxious to begin new construction at the North Street site and hope for some movement by 2018.
Waiting really for the government to respond to us and to confirm the actual ownership of that building. And so for us, we're ready to go, and we're anxious to start moving on that. And we just need some final details confirmed. And with the change in government this year, we're now waiting for the final details to be worked out. but believing that we can get that moving forward. And right now, all I would say is that we're anxious to start moving.
Can you expect something in 2018?
I would sure hope so, and if I don't see some movement in 2018, it's going to cause panic, because the situation at the current site continues to decline, and it's desperate right now, and so we're just anxiously waiting, because that building bears our name, and we're anxious to move out of that because it's not in good condition. The government provides the Salvation Army through the Community Services Ministry, and they provide us with a grant to run the programming of the Bishop Spencer building. Not adequate at this point to completely run the shelter. Therefore, the Salvation Army contributes well over $200,000 to $300,000 a year in order to keep that facility alive at this point.
The Salvation Army's Beverly Daniels says although the shelter was designed as a transitional facility, there are users living under these conditions for extended periods of time.
Currently, we housing men and women. We have around 40-some people. I can't give a definite number because it's a transient population. But on last check, we had around 42 people. We have more men than women. But they need a place, and some of them have been there over a year, some over 2 years. So there is a need. There is a definite need. And but as the politicians say, we are cautiously optimistic that 2018 is going to be our year.
In other news, the opposition Senate team has accused the new government of interfering with independent bodies and risking the island's reputation. The latest round of criticism comes from the OBA Senator Nick Kemp, who is alarmed over reports of government interaction with independent bodies such as the Bermuda Tourism Authority and the Casino Gaming Commission, which were set up under the OBA government, he says, designed to prevent government interference.
One of those was the BTA, or Bermuda Tourism Authority, and right out of the gate at the first sitting of Parliament, the BTA was attacked by its minister, the minister responsible for tourism, on its hiring practices based off of some draft notes that were incorrect in the audit. It showed both the lack of understanding of the audit process as well as it unfairly sought to besmirch the credibility and the kind of respectful esteem that the community has for the BTA. You take that, which was a relatively minor thing, and some of these things might feel minor in isolation, but when you look at them as a collective, it seems to be a systemic attack on these independent bodies. Just this week, we've seen the Patty request emails that were released between the minister and the chairman of the Bermuda Gaming Commission, where the chairman of the commission was repeatedly asked to resign based on not sure what exactly. It all seemed very flimsy. This talk of international standards or against the government's will. You know, the whole point of the Gaming Commission is to ensure that our jurisdiction, which has both financial products and reinsurance, etc., has gaming that's held to the same high standards as those other entities.
Cloudy this evening with showers spreading in from the east, hanging around into Wednesday. Here's a nightly AccuWeather forecast.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
Good evening. Hopefully you had a wonderful day today. This forecast is brought to you by the BF&M Insurance Group. We had a cold front move across the island yesterday. Here it is. It is now changing its mind. It's going to be moving to the west tomorrow. So we're going to see a couple more showers tonight and also into tomorrow. Right now, not much going on. Maybe a brief shower in some places, but for the most part, it's pretty calm out there. Temperature across the island right now around 76 degrees. Humidity 80 to 85%. That humidity is going to be dropping toward the end of the week. Winds out of the southwest 5 to 10 knots. Water temperature still warm at 78 degrees. Waves inside the reef 1 to 2 feet and outside 4 to 7 feet. We don't have any advisories to tell you about. So tonight, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers as that warm front moves to the west. Temperatures at 72 degrees. Tomorrow, it's going to be a bit cloudy out there with a couple of showers. Temperatures at 78 degrees, which is right around average for this time of year. Our tide times, the first high tide 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, and then the second one at 7:01 in the morning Wednesday. If you're here on vacation and you're taking off, or if you're just traveling, we do have some gateway forecasts for you. Toronto, some showers, 48 degrees. It's nice and dry from New York to London. Temperatures vary, though. In New York and Boston, we're in the 50s. Atlanta, 73, and in Miami, a nice warm 81 degrees. Here in the Caribbean, it's actually pretty quiet in most places. We are seeing, of course, a brief shower at times pretty much anywhere. And then our temperature is sitting steady right around 88 degrees. The next couple of days after this front moves through Wednesday, it's going to be drying out. And as I said, humidity will be dropping through Friday. Temperatures staying right in the upper to mid 70s all week long. Friday, our low gets to 69 degrees. Stay tuned to Ocean 89, Power 95, and Inspire 105 for all your latest news and weather.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Visit Bermuda's #1 furniture store today. Big Savings Zone, Southside St. David's.
Looking for a challenge, new adventures, forge lifelong friendships, and earn an extra $5,000 to $6,000 a year?
Good stuff.
Be a part of a proud and honorable legacy of service. The Royal Bermuda Regiment is seeking volunteers.
Let's go, guys!
Call us at 238-1045 or visit bermudaregiment.bm. The Royal Bermuda Regiment, your regiment.
It is time to fall back, Bermuda. Daylight savings time comes to an end this weekend, so before you head off to bed on Saturday, be sure to set your clocks and your watches back by 1 hour. The official time change is Sunday morning at 2 a.m. So think of the seasons and fall back. The sun sets earlier, sure, but you get an extra hour of sleep. So this Saturday, wind those watches and clocks back. Just a friendly reminder brought to you by Bermuda Broadcasting.
Hi, I'm Charles Webb, inviting you to join me on Monday nights at 8 for Season 2 of Inside Bermuda Homes, a program showing how Bermuda lives. That's Monday nights at 8 o'clock on ZBM TV 9 for Inside Bermuda Homes.
Bermuda Football Association sees cup draws. Patrick Nisbet wins in Belgium, and Vanessa James skates in Canada. Earl Bazin has the details and more in tonight's sports report.
The Bermuda Football Association today hosted the FA Challenge Cup first round draw inside the Clyde Best Center of Excellence boardroom. Chairman of Leagues and Competitions, Shannon Burgess, has the draw.
Wolves and Dennytown at Devon Chirac. Flanagan's versus Robin Hood at BAA. North Village versus St. David's at Bernard's Park. Young Men's Social Club versus PHC at Police Field. Somerset Cricket Club versus St. George's Cricket Club at Somerset. Devon Chirac versus Southampton Rangers at Devon Chirac. Crossroads versus Paget at Garrison. And Boulevard versus BAE at St. David's.
The association also hosted the Masters Knockout Draw. Burgess has the results.
Full Masters Knockout Draw. Hamilton Parish versus St. David's at Lords. Wolves versus Somerset Extras at Devonshire Rack. North Village Rams versus Devonshire Cultural Stars at Bernard's Park. and Prospect versus Devonshire Lions at Police Field.
Following the draws, as the only media present, we asked the chairman his take on a former national coach expressing his disappointment on Facebook with his league team's game not being called off on Sunday because he had 2 players involved in the Bermuda-Barbados match that was played on Saturday night. Burgess responded this way.
The unfortunate thing about us is that many of our international matches are played outside of the FIFA window, international window. We play international matches when we can get them. And it's quite difficult to make amendments to the schedule when the national team is playing, particularly in a friendly match, because we play from September to March with a tight window when it comes to rescheduling of matches. And so if you reschedule one match, then you're perhaps throughout the course of the season forced to reschedule all. So we tried to put a framework around it a few seasons ago. Whether that framework's right or wrong, we continue to have a look, but the framework we have put in place is that if you have 4 or more national team players participating, then we will give consideration to postponing a match. And we've applied that rule across the board last season in many instances. We've had a few requests last year, particularly when the under-20 team traveled to Costa Rica last year. That would have put us in a serious situation in that if they were successful, they would have been going for about 3 weeks.
Nakeem Wells was an unused substitute as Sean Dykes celebrated his 5th anniversary as Burnley manager with a 1-0 victory over Newcastle that moved them up to 7th place last evening. Christopher Arujo and his Cabrini men's soccer teammates secured the top seed in the upcoming Colonial State Athletic Conference tournament and home field advantage with a 5-1 victory at Kearney University, which was the regular season final match for both teams. Arujo scored his team's 2nd goal of the game in the 10th minute. Patrick Nisbet continued competing in the CSI 2 and CSI YH1 Obelback International Horse Jumping Indoor event at the Centaur Park in Belgium. On day 2, Nisbet competed in 2 classes, winning 1. Nisbet and Jawad Diansbach Z won the 1.20 meter CSI 2 in 2 phases class. The pair recorded a clear first phase time of 52.45 before clocking a clear second phase time of 29.36. Competing in the 1.30 meter CSI 2 in 2 phases class, Nisbet and Balaz finished 51st. They clocked a clear first phase time of 32.93, but they clocked a time of 38.79 in their second phase to go along with 4 penalty fault points. Vanessa James and Morgan Cyprus of France competed in the free skate pairs competition at the 2017 Skate Canada International ISU Grand Prix. The French pair finished 3rd in the short program after recording a score of 73.04. Alona Shevchenko and Bruno Massat from Germany won the event with a score of 77.34, with Canadian pair Megan Dummau and Eric Radford finishing 2nd with a score of 73.53. Bermuda is just one of 10 teams that have registered for the upcoming 2018 Caribbean Basketball Confederation Men's Championship. The tournament is scheduled to take place in Suriname in June. The men's teams who have registered to participate include Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Bermuda, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, Montserrat, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and host Suriname. The FIBA in the Americas office will be doing the draw shortly to determine the brackets. Davwa Whaley and his University of Arkansas men's football kicker teammate Connor Limpert drilled a 34-yard field goal with 4 seconds left in the 4th quarter to give them a 38-37 win over Ole Miss in a delayed screen. Sophomore Whaley went 12 yards to give Arkansas its first touchdown of the game. It was the first receiving touchdown of Whaley.
Let's get lunch from the Marketplace Food Court. You know what? That sounds good. They have oxtails, pumpkin, curried lamb, lemon chicken, sweet and sour ribs, vegetable stir fry, and the variety goes on.
Their chefs are good. They'll set you right up with all the good carvings.
And don't forget the special dishes from the islands.
It don't matter. No matter what you feel like eating, Marketplace will have it.
You know, it's quick, it's quality, and at prices you can count on.
Visit us 7 days a week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner made for you daily at the Hamilton Marketplace Food Court.
The Doghouse, where we all end up, presents Undefeated Bermuda. Let's get ready to rumble! In the red corner, representing Bermuda, it's Nikki Nifty Bascoul! And in the green corner, representing Portugal, it's Fabio Hands of Stone Costa! International referee Steve Smager officiating the event. It's live at the Fairmont, Southampton on November 11th. Doors open at 7 p.m. Event starts at 8 p.m. Free Bermuda and Portugal flags at the gate. Tickets are $75 for general admission, $150 VIP ringside. Tickets sold at Sports Source Hamilton and Wharf, Audiovisual Hamilton and Somerset, Fairmont, Southampton. Tickets sold online at ptix.bm. Sponsored by the Doghouse, Cesaris Gas Station, the Royal Gazette, the Sports Source, Audiovisual Electronics, Sousa Landscape, the Island Shack, Fresh and Hungry, Arnold's Family Market. See you at Undefeated.
And that's our broadcast for tonight. I'm Tarai Trott. Thanks for watching. Safe trick-or-treating. Good night.